When a craft executes an impossible 90-degree turn at high speed, it appears to be the work of an extraterrestrial visitor. Richard Doty spent 20 years investigating exactly these types of events as a special agent for the US Air Force. His declassified accounts challenge the basic assumptions behind these sightings. According to Doty, the most significant classified secret is that human military personnel are currently the ones sitting in the pilot seats of these advanced crafts. To understand how they got there, we have to look at the physical reality of the 1947 Roswell incident, the first officially documented extraterrestrial crash. Doty's records reveal a larger logistical complication. A severe thunderstorm that night disrupted the electromagnetic fields of two separate spacecraft, leading to a mid-air collision. The military only learned of the second craft after a captured biological entity from the first wreck communicated its existence. It took recovery teams 2 full years to locate that second wreckage in a remote area 400 kilometers away. While both sites were eventually secured, the mission was a failure for the engineering teams. Both vehicles were too badly damaged to provide a blueprint for flight. By the 1960s, this lack of progress became a strategic crisis. The US launched Operation Sapphire Selena, a classified initiative to build a military base on the lunar surface for global tactical dominance. Human rocketry proved too limited. Burning massive amounts of fuel to sustain a 3-day transit made lunar supply lines a logistical impossibility. To achieve ultimate tactical supremacy, the US government realized they had to move past traditional aerospace development and secure a fully intact alien spacecraft to copy. In the early 1970s, that hardware finally arrived. In a deserted region near Las Vegas, recovery teams found a perfectly intact craft. It was undamaged, empty, and designated Polizma. A second craft, named Remos, was later recovered from a Saudi Arabian desert with the assistance of the local government. This diagram compares the two vehicles. Their completely different architectures and propulsion designs proved they originated from entirely separate extraterrestrial species. The recovery process eventually turned violent. Above Nellis Air Force Base, an unarmed US jet spotted a 100-foot-long oval craft. Armed reinforcements were scrambled, eventually shooting the object down. From the wreckage, they recovered Mantis aliens, insectoid beings standing nearly 6 feet tall. Their anatomy was strikingly complex, featuring eyes that contained 3 distinct pupils each. By the end of the 1970s, the US military had successfully amassed a multi-species fleet of vehicles and the biological operators who understood them. The Remos craft, the Polizma craft, and the biological entities were all moved into the high-security labs of Area 51 for study. Air Force engineers were initially stumped. The cockpits were entirely smooth, lacking any traditional human interfaces like steering columns or buttons. The teams resorted to physical trial and error, placing hands on smooth surfaces to trigger a reaction. It took years of systematic testing just to lift the Remos craft an inch off the ground. They eventually identified the core propulsion mechanism, a blue plasma field that envelops the ship, creating an anti-gravity shield that negates earthly physics. This wasn't a sudden discovery. The military spent decades in a systematic engineering pipeline, exhausting every possibility until they finally learned to manipulate the underlying physics. Mastering that physics required a massive investment in human training. It currently takes a 10 to 15-year pipeline to teach an Air Force pilot how to reliably maneuver these crafts into orbit. The military has moved from the clumsy experiments of the 70S to a state of absolute tactical mastery over these anti-gravity systems. If Doty's declassifications are accurate, many of the impossible, radar-evading UFOs spotted by civilians today are actually covert US Special Forces test flights. This isn't just an American advantage. Whistleblowers suggest adversaries like Russia and China have recovered their own crashed crafts and biological entities for study. The search for extraterrestrial life has become a highly classified terrestrial arms race happening right above us.